Hey kids, I wanted to shoot you this quick message, and basically just because you both had kind of the same thing on your check-in form with me this week, and I found it to be really interesting that you went and you wanted to go teach the Core 4. Now, please keep in mind that when I shot this email out to everybody, this was not an obligation. This was simply an invitation to people to join teaching their teams and inspiring their teams and leading their teams down this path. And so it was kind of interesting to read that you both had felt like it didn't fit, but yet you still went in on it. Like, you're doing it, and that tells me that you're getting results from it yourself, and I'm really excited about that. But then there's something inside you that said, okay, well, let's just go all in and do this with our teams. And then you saw that it fell flat with your teams. There's a couple things to look at here. Number one, why? Why did you go ahead and feel the need to teach this to your teams right now? That would be number one, okay? Number two, why weren't they buying in? And that typically comes back from experience. If you're learning something and you're living it, and you've been living it for an X period of time, for a long period of time, it's way easier to sit down with the team and invite them into a process and also get them inspired in what's going to take to help them to be even more successful in their lives. But maybe they haven't seen the changes that you've seen. Maybe they haven't noticed that you're doing anything different. I don't know. But I would ask that you evaluate this and say, okay, well, why was it that they weren't buying in? And again, it could be number one, just simply because you haven't been living it long enough. We've been together for 2 months now, so you've only got 60 days underneath your belt. Hell, it takes 90 days to develop a new habit, and that's assuming you've done it consistently for 90 days. So at any point, if you haven't done a Core 4 consistently over time, then you're starting over again, because you're trying to develop a new habit. And so you have to look at your energy around this and the shifts and the things that you have to go through. Now, 90 days from now, we could probably introduce this to your team and get them involved. But you got to do it in the right way. You got to do it in a process. That's why I put videos out there to explain to everybody, like, hey, here's how you go about even getting a team involved. But if your team is not involved, if they're not feeling inspired or motivated by it, and you're feeling off, ask yourself why you felt the need to push something that you weren't wanting to do in the first place. And then I would ask you to look, where else in your life are you doing this? Where else in your life are you doing things that you really don't want to, but you're implementing them anyway? This could go deep. I don't know. It might not. We don't get a chance to talk, so I don't know. All we have is email, and I'm sending you a video. But I want you to take a look at your life, and where else have you done this or been doing this where you're implementing something that it just doesn't, like, you're just doing it because somebody told you to, but it's not really resonating when you sit and share it. Because sometimes I bet you've pushed it through anyway as a result. So take a look at that now, right now. Number two, what are the changes that you've seen so far? You yourselves. Maybe your staff hasn't seen it, but you yourselves, what are the changes you've seen in each other as a result of doing this, in productivity and energy and those sorts of things? Are you truly getting energy from the Core 4 in the morning, or are you checking boxes? And it's important. We have to do this every day, identify if we're checking boxes, because if we don't, we're going to go down a path and we're going to realize, holy crap, I've been checking boxes for a really, really long time. So take a look at that as well. And then finally, here we go, drum roll please. As we wrap it all up into this team thing, team concept, team energy, I don't even know what you want to call it. I would ask you to take a look at your team and just find out what motivates your team, what inspires your team. I'm sure, like most chiropractors, we all have great relationships with our teams. So why did this fall short? And I would go as far as even asking your team. If they say they felt like they were being told they had to do something, then I have to go back and evaluate again. Where in our leadership are we telling them stuff instead of truly explaining it? Or where are we not putting enough high value on something that we think is important and maybe they don't? So this is a great opportunity to look at your leadership. This is a great opportunity to look at your team and their responses to things. This is a great opportunity for you to look at where else in our lives are we following through and doing things that other people are telling us to do, but it's not hitting our highest values at that point in time. I think once you get versed in the Core 4, because I haven't seen anybody walk away from it, once you get versed in the Core 4 and you're actually living it, like truly living it, not just experiencing it right now, but truly living it, I think you're going to find that it's way easier to turn around and share this with a staff member, hell, patients, other people in your life. But you got to truly be living it and owning it in order to share it. It comes back to chiropractic, right? When our certainty is high, the people around us dive right in. But if we start to falter on our certainty, we can't be shocked when patients leave. And the same thing happens with this. It's not chiropractic, it's a Core 4. And if your certainty wavers at all, if you're not completely sure about even how to explain it to somebody or share it with somebody or how it could benefit their lives, then guess what? They're not buying in. So hopefully this makes sense. But I really, when I read both of your emails, I'm like, okay, there's so much more here. It's so much deeper than what we're looking at in just I decided to share it and then realized it didn't fit. There's so much more here. If you're willing to go deeper on it, we're gonna find some really cool answers and some completely insane, absolutely insane results on the other side of it if we're willing to break it down. So love to hear your thoughts on this. I just want to send a personal email out to you guys. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on it. Let me know some feedback and we'll talk to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.